We had embarked at Universal on a strategy of building a roster of the young comedians who were breaking out. Steve Martin was high on that list for us.
And Steve called and said, I have this movie that needs a rewrite. Would you come and rewrite it with me? And I said, sure. And that was The Jerk.
The Jerk is this up-by-your-own bootstraps kind of story. Steve Martin bumbles his way to immense success. The classic rise and fall narrative is embedded in the story of this guy.
And there's just something funny about clueless people having bad things happen to them.
The first director was Mike Nichols, for whom I have tremendous respect. He's a great artist and a great director. So we went to New York and we met with him, and he was going to change some kind of the tone of it. And we said, fine, great. And we got into the elevator and the door closed and David Picker said, him.
Mike Nichols, he's brilliant, he's a genius. But what we needed here was someone who simply understood broad comedy, and nobody understood comedy as well as Carl Reiner.
David Picker, he sent me the script, and it was a very funny script, and I said, this is for me. There was no question about it, I was gonna do it.
Carl Reiner was very hot. He was just coming off of Oh, God.
But before then, he started out as a writer in the 50s on Sid Caesar's shows, and then went on to partner with Mel Brooks, and they were hugely popular. They did The 2,000-Year-Old Man.
Oh, and also, Carl Reiner was the creator of the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Reiner knew more about comedy than most people will ever know in a lifetime.
He was the perfect director to hook up with Steve Martin.
You have like Steve Martin being the guy who's like wild and crazy and who's willing to try anything and who really wants to experiment. And I feel like Carl Reiner is the guy who's got decades of experience making television, making movies as a director. And he's kind of the guy who's there to steady the ship and make sure that what they end up with is not just funny, but is also a movie.
Cut.